What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here, and in today's video, I'm still in Berlin. I'm having a lot of fun. Hopefully, this is I'm recording this the day before I fly out, but hopefully, I'm having a lot of fun. We have today for the Kanto Cup battles, we're gonna have Hypno, Alolan Raticate, and Alolan Muk. Alolan Raticate really core breaks a lot of teams that aren't prepared for the Quick Attack, Crunch, and Hyper Fang moveset, along with that Dark Normal typing because it does so well against Pokemon like Alolan Marowak, and Hypno. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. How this goes. What's great with Hypno on the lead as well is you're also going to draw out potential counters to Alolan Raticate with that Alolan Muk safe swap. So we're going to go ahead and swap into the Alolan Muk. Obviously, that's a bad matchup for us. And like I said, here comes that Shadow Machamp. And what's great about Alolan Muk is we're a dark poison typing, which means we're going to take neutral damage from those fighting type moves. So we can actually survive a lot of the hits here from a Shadow Machamp. And Sludge Wave can one-shot. That's incredible. You guys need to understand how dangerous this charge move is. Thankfully, or not thankfully, but the opponent does understand that, and they're going to go ahead and farm us down. That's okay. We just got ourselves shield advantage. We can come in with our own Hypno right now, and that is most likely the only counter on the team to our Alolan Raticate. So we're just going to go ahead and commit to the farm down right here. Rock Slide likely coming through, going to be a lot of neutral damage, but I'm going to go ahead and let this go and look to commit to that farm down, get a lot of energy, and look to close out strong with Alolan Raticate, considering we probably drew out the only counter to it. So we're going to see the Alolan Muk come back in. We're going to go ahead and swap into our Alolan Raticate. And notice how our opponent isn't backing out or swapping out. This likely tells me that there's either a Hypno or an Alolan Marowak in the back. So we're going to go ahead and shield. We don't want to get hit with Sludge Wave. That's going to do a lot of neutral damage in the matchup. And we can go for Hyper Fang right here. We're running Quick Attack, Crunch, and Hyper Fang. Hyper Fang does massive neutral damage against those Dark-type Pokemon like we see right there. And Crunch really handles the Hypno and the Alolan Marowak. So we're going to go ahead and shield again. They're not swapping out. This tells me I hard counter whatever's in the back, so I need to stop that Sludge Wave. We're going to go ahead and commit to the farm down, but they swap out into Alolan Marowak, and just like that, we are looking solid. Alolan Raticate absolutely walls Alolan Marowak as long as they don't land a Fire Blast. Fire Blast won't one-shot from full health, but still, Alolan Raticate absolutely handles this matchup, especially if it's a Fire Spin, Shadow Bone, and Bone Club Alolan Marowak. So it feels really bad to see the GOAT go down, but Alolan Raticate is there to break apart those cores of Alolan Muk, Hypno, and Alolan Marowak. So if you guys have been having trouble against those Pokemon, Alolan Raticate's a very strong option. Now, it's not the strongest in Open Great League. It still has some play, but it's definitely more of a, it's very strong for Kanto Cup right now. So we're going to go ahead and swap now into Hypno, go for the Thunder Punch because we have stored energy right here. I didn't want the Alolan Marowak to potentially farm me down, and I know this Thunder Punch can KO from this range, and the Alolan Muk now is at very, very low health, and that is going to be a good game. All right, let's go ahead and move into the next battle. So like I said, you guys are going to likely draw out the hardest counter to Alolan Raticate, which is very strong, but this team suffers against Wigglytuff's hidden in the back, but that's okay. So we have Hypno on the lead versus Dewgong right here. Pretty decent matchup. Thunder Punch does super effective damage, but sadly we can't get to it in time before the Icy Wind comes in. We definitely don't want that debuff on us, but we also don't want to shield as well. So now our Thunder Punches are going to be doing less damage, and they actually snuck in a fast move right there too, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. Now, my opponent decides to shield right there. That's a huge tell. I'm very confused right now because Thunder Punch wouldn't do as much damage because they did an Icy Wind. So this tells me I think they have something weak to Hypno in the back. So I'm going to swap out right here because we got a shield, and here comes the Shadow Machamp. And that shield was a huge tell because a Dewgong shouldn't really be shielding a lowered attack Thunder Punch right there. So we're going to go ahead and not shield right here. We know we can get to the Sludge Wave. This is going to one-shot Shadow Machamp if they decide not to shield. And they only have one shield, so it's going to be up to them. And let's see what happens. We land the Sludge Wave, boom, one-shot it. That is beautiful. And now we see Dewgong come back in, which is fine. Our Hypno was able to clear the debuff of Icy Wind, and we have a Thunder Punch ready to go. This is going to be putting a lot more pressure on the health here of Dewgong because of the water typing. And we may also get a shield. Let's see. We don't get a shield, that's fine. And notice how much damage that Thunder Punch did, and that's without a debuff from Icy Wind. So there's no reason why the Dewgong should be shielding that right there. So Icy Wind's going to take us out. That's fine. I'm going to trust in Alolan Raticate again to close out because, again, we brought out that hardest counter in Shadow Machamp. So I'm guessing there's a Hypno, there's an Alolan Muk, or there's an Alolan Marowak in the back. We're going to go ahead and shield this Icy Wind. The chip damage, I don't want it. We're well ahead on energy, and Alolan Marowak is going to come in. Now, it's very unfortunate that they did get an Icy Wind because our attack is now lowered, so Crunch is not going to do as much
much damage, but that's okay. I think we can still pull it out. We basically need to get to 2 crunches right here in order to finish off the Alolan Marowak. Crunch does super effective damage because of that ghost typing there, and it chunks a decent amount, which is really unfortunate. The attack lowering really hinders Alolan Raticate to close out extremely well in situations like this, but I think we can make it. So we're going to go ahead and shield this Bone Club right here. It does decent amount of chip damage, and we just have to, right? They built up a lot of energy, and we didn't want a Fire Blast to hit us, but now we know it's just Bone Club, so we can survive Alolan Raticate. It's absolutely bulky. We're throwing another crunch right here. This is going to be very, very close. I don't think this is going to be enough to KO, and Quick Attack is a normal type move, which means it's going to be resisted by the ghost typing, and thankfully we're able to farm down just before they got a Bone Club right there, and then we're going to be able to get to the crunch against the Dugong. So very, very close match right there. Well played to my opponent, but I think reading the fact that they shielded a Thunder Punch, it was a tell to the Shadow Machamp in the back. All right, let's move into the next battle. Okay, so let's see how this one goes. We have Hypno on the lead versus Alolan Marowak. Really bad matchup for us, and I want to get ahead on energy on Alolan Muck right away. We have double counters in the back. Here comes another Shadow Machamp. I'm telling you guys, you're going to draw out, because of that Hypno lead, if they have a fighter, you're going to draw that out into the Alolan Muck, and Sludge Wave decimates. Boom, one-shots right there. There's no reason to not go for, or there's no reason to go for Dark Pulse, because you either want to land it or you want to get shield advantage, because Hypno, even if it's matched up against Alolan Marowak, like it potentially could be if they were to shield that, when we farm down with energy, we have access to Shadow Ball, which does super effective damage. So you want to give your team shield advantage in this situation, which is why we're running that Sludge Wave to help out against those fighters. On top of that, it helps out against the Wigglytuff as well. One-shots those. Now we're going to go ahead and let the Alolan Muck go down. We got a shield from the Alolan Marowak, which is fine. We can now align Alolan Raticate to Alolan Marowak, which is obviously a huge, powerful matchup for us. We know they only have Bone Club and potentially Shadow Ball or Shadow Bone, so we don't need to shield a potential Fire Blast. So Bone Club does come through. That's fine. We're going to go ahead and go for the crunch right away. They do have quite a bit of energy, and I don't want them to continuously chip away the health right there. I want to apply a lot of pressure and get that Alolan Marowak out of there. So they're going to go ahead and throw another charge move. That's fine. We can save our shields. We have 2 extremely bulky Pokemon. They only have 1 left in the back. We're going to be able to commit to that farm down. Another charge move coming through. We don't need to shield. We still have Hypno in the back. Even if there's an Alolan Muck in the back, I think we're going to be okay. And it will be an Alolan Muck, which is fine. Hyper Fang right here does a lot of neutral damage, which is why you guys want to run that on Alolan Raticate to help out against these dark type Pokemon that would otherwise resist. As you can see, that absolutely chunks. And what's great too is you resist dark type moves, so that Snarl, they can't really farm me down without having to throw energy. So we're going to go ahead and throw a crunch right here for shield bait. They still have 1 shield left, and we're going to swap into that Hypno. So we get the shield. We swap into the Hypno now, and look at this. We're able to realign Hypno into the fight, and we gave it 2 shield advantage because of the bulk from Alolan Muck and Alolan Raticate that were able to help out in that mid game. Now we're going to go ahead and let this one go through. I wasn't sure how much energy is on Alolan Marowak, and I got to be careful with that, and I think I can get to the Thunder Punch in time because Dark Pulse wasn't going to one-shot right there. So we're going to go ahead and get to the Thunder Punch. Alolan Marowak is basically 1 or 2 fast moves away from going down, and as long as I keep that shield, I think we're going to be okay. So we're going to go ahead, yeah, it's 1 fast move away, and that is going to be a good battle right there. All right, moving into the next battle. Let's see how this one goes. So we have Hypno on the lead versus Rapidash. Very strong Pokemon showcased in another video here on the channel. It's absolutely deadly, so you got to control its energy. Now, they decide to swap out into Snorlax. So we're going to go ahead and build up to Shadow Ball and now go into Alolan Muck right here. What's great about this matchup is most Snorlaxes are not running Earthquake. They're running Body Slam Superpower, so we only take neutral damage from those, and it is going to be a Superpower on the first one. That does quite a bit of damage. Now, I decide to go for Dark Pulse right here because I'm thinking maybe they want a shield because they did lower their defenses, but they go ahead and let it go through. That's going to be fine. Now I'm going to want to overload on energy right here. Another superpower might be coming through. Could be just be a body slam, but we're going to go ahead and shield this one. I think in hindsight, I could have saved that shield and just gone for straight Dark Pulse. But we're going to overload on energy because now, since I gave up a shield, I need to get a shield on this back end against that Rapidash. And the Rapidash either has a charge move ready to go or is 1 fast move away. So we're going to go ahead and get that Dark Pulse off right here. This is going to get that shield back that they took away from me to give me a better matchup endgame in a 1 shield situation. And they're going to go ahead and try to commit to the farm down, but I think I can get to the Dark Pulse. No, they decide to throw energy. We're going to go ahead and let this go. This is probably going to be the Flame Charge. It's going to boost that attack on the Rapidash, which is unfortunate. unfortunate, but Rapidash is so much fun and it's a shiny Pokemon. Now, we're going to go ahead and go for Shadow Ball right here. In hindsight, I could have gone for Thunder Punch because I think they are going to shield, so they did shield right there, and I wasn't too sure how much Thunder Punch would actually do. So Thunder Punch right there I think would have been the better call to chip away damage because of the damage from Confusion, and Thunder Punch would have added up. We're going to go ahead and shield that Flame Charge, their attack rose, and now we're going to go for another Thunder Punch. If you guys let Rapidash get ahead on energy, you kind of lose count on how much energy it has and can get off charge moves before you're ready. This is what I'm talking about. Wigglytuff in the back is tough. We saved our energy right there. We're swapping to Alolan Raticate, which is absolutely thick, and hopefully we can get to this Hyper Fang. We do get to the Hyper Fang in time, but is this going to be enough damage? This is why I said Wigglytuffs in the back are trouble for this team, and it's not going to be enough damage, unfortunately. And we're going to bring back in the Hypno. We're one fast move away, but they have energy right there, and that's going to be a good battle. And this is why I said Wigglytuffs in the back I think are the hardest things to deal with, but that's okay. Very well played, and let's go ahead and move into the next battle. All right. So yeah, that one was really close, and the reason why I said that Thunder Punch, we would have had enough energy if I used Thunder Punch against Rapidash instead of the Shadow Ball. We would have been able to win that game. Okay, so we have Hypno on the lead versus Shadow Dragonair. Absolutely deadly, but Confusion chunks. Absolutely chunks. We don't need to give up a shield as well. Aqua Tail does a decent amount of chip damage, but I can save those shields for the backline. So what I want to do is go for the guaranteed shield right here. I'm going to go for the Shadow Ball. I think Thunder Punch could still do some decent damage even though it is resisted, but I definitely want shields out of the way. So we get a shield, and now I'm going to swap into Alolan Muk. They swap into Blastoise. This is actually pretty good for us. Considering we have 2 shields to their 1 shield, we need to manage our energy very well on this Alolan Muk because we're going to be outpacing the charge moves from a Blastoise with their Hydro Cannons to our Snarl, basically, or to our Dark Pulses. So we're going to go ahead and shield a Hydro Cannon right here, and I need to manage my energy correctly so that I can get another charge move on the back end against Dragonair that's going to be coming back in. So we're going to overload by going 1 extra fast move right there and go for a Dark Pulse. We do get the second shield right here, which is fantastic. This means I need to overload even more. We're going to go into double shields right here because I know Alolan Muk, with its ability to gain energy with Snarl, can really come out of this with a lot of energy, basically 2 Dark Pulses. So we're basically 1 fast move away, I think, or 2. This Dark Pulse will be KOing the Blastoise, and we have enough health left that I think I can get to another one against the Dragonair. So we are going to see Dragonair come in. We're able to get to the next Dark Pulse, and that is due to the over farming that we just did. Like I said, if you guys are in positive situations like this with Snarl, you need to take advantage of that to be able to get hard-hitting charge moves on the backline. Now we're going to see a Kanto Marowak come in, which is really cool. We're going to go ahead and bring in the Alolan Raticate right here. Ratticate's going to be able to handle this relatively well. Hyper Fang and Crunch both do decent neutral damage in this matchup, and I think it's 1 Crunch, 1 Hyper Fang to finish it off. It might be 2 Crunches, but I was just unsure, so I'm just going to go for the Crunch first. Bone Clubs and Mud Slaps really don't hurt us too much, and we're going to outpace it in terms of charge moves. So we're going to go ahead and go for this Crunch. Does a decent amount of damage, and then we're going to go for the Hyper Fang right here, so we get to it, but they do get another charge move. But again, it's just Bone Club. I know I can survive this. Alolan Raticate is an absolute tank, and we're going to be able to finish off this battle very, very nicely. So well played to my opponent, but that was definitely all about energy management there on the Alolan Muk mid-game to help us out and close off that Dragonair, which is definitely deadly. Moving into the next battle here. Let's see how this one goes. We have Hypno on the lead versus Wigglytuff. Okay, so this is definitely the best position in which you want to see a Wigglytuff. You want to see it on the lead because your backline then is probably going to be able to dominate theirs. Now we're both lagging right here, so fast moves are still going through, and we built up to 2 Thunder Punches right here. It does neutral damage in the matchup, but not enough to KO. Now we get a shield, which is fantastic. We're going to go for the next Thunder Punch right here. Hopefully they shield again. That would be huge for us. And we do get a second shield. That is amazing. Now, can we get to another Thunder Punch? No, they're going to throw energy. This is beautiful for us. Reason being, we have 2 shields. We're going to be eliminating this Wigglytuff with our Alolan Muk right here because we can get to that Sludge Wave. Yes, we're going to take quite a bit of neutral damage with that Charm, but the Sludge Wave is going to KO. And now we've probably eliminated the only counter they have to our Alolan Raticate, and we still have 2 shields. That is huge for this matchup. That's why you want to see Wigglytuff on the lead. Now, they bring in a Lapras. This is a huge tell right here. Firstly, this is a tell they have Hypno or Alolan Marowak in the back because Lapras is probably their best option to the Alolan Muck right here. And so because we have 2 shields as well, we're going to go ahead and shield that. We're going to go for Sludge Wave right here. It does massive neutral damage. And then we're going to go for a Dark Pulse because we're going to be outpacing the Lapras right here to the charge move. So we're going to be able to get to the Dark Pulse in time. This is going to be taking out Lapras. And like I said, I think there's a Hypno or an Alolan Marowak in the back, which we have the Alolan Raticate for with a shield. But no, it's a Snorlax. I'm like, oh man, you guys know how dangerous this can be. Snorlax with superpower can one-shot an Alolan Raticate. So we got to call this correctly. We're going to go ahead and shield, and it was a superpower. Thank goodness. Oh my gosh, Hyper Fang right here. I think they should have built up to 2 charge moves because throwing the superpower like they did allows us to hit even harder with Hyper Fang, which is unfortunate for them. And now a charge move coming through is probably going to be another superpower. Can the Alolan Raticate hang on? If you guys are the Snorlax in this situation, definitely build up to 2 superpowers. It's not enough to KO, but that still did massive damage. And then we're going to be able to go for the Crunch right here. And this is going to be taking out the Snorlax. So well played to my opponent, but thankfully we shielded that superpower. All right, moving into the next one here. We have Hypno on the lead versus Lapras. Pretty positive matchup for us considering we're running Thunder Punch, which is definitely the ideal moveset, the Shadow Ball Thunder Punch against this meta that we do see. Thunder Punch does super effective damage in this matchup. We're very thick. We don't need to be shielding. I mean, Skull Bash, yes, can hurt, but if you call it correctly, by basically not shielding, we're chunking right here, which is great. We're not going to shield. I think this is just going to be a Surf. We're going to let it go through. It's not going to do enough to take us out. It is just a Surf, which is fantastic. We're going to be able to get to the Thunder Punch right here, but no, they get off another charge move. And seeing how much damage Surf did to us, we don't need to shield again. We can survive, and we can throw the Thunder Punch right here to either win switch advantage or give ourselves shield advantage and come in and farm with Alolan Muck. So we're going to go ahead and throw that Thunder Punch. They do decide to shield, so I'm going to go ahead and swap now into Alolan Muck and start getting ahead on energy. They do decide to swap in Wigglytuff. This is amazing. Again, probably the only counter to Alolan Raticate, and in this situation, you guys can go for back-to-back Sludge Waves. It will one-shot. We get a shield right there, and because we got ahead on energy, we're going to be able to get to another Sludge Wave just before they take us out with the fast move. That was extremely close. This one-shots the Wigglytuff, which is fantastic here, which is why we have Alolan Muck on the team to handle those Charmers, and then we're going to probably see that Lapras come back in and farm us down, which is fine. We have now eliminated what is most likely the hardest counter to our Alolan Raticate. We're going to go ahead and shield this Surf right here and look to commit to the farm down. And again, probably a Hypno or an Alolan Marowak in the back. We commit to that farm down. Let's see what the final Pokemon is going to be. It's going to be the Alolan Marowak. Perfect. A lot of people are trying to close with Alolan Marowaks and Hypnos and Alolan Mucks, which is where Alolan Raticate closing can really work out well. And again, with this team, if you guys draw out the Fighter, if you guys draw out the Wigglytuff, it's fantastic for us. And they couldn't have swapped in Alolan Marowak into our Alolan Muck, which is why we saw the Wigglytuff come in. So we're going to be able to get to another Crunch right here. This is going to be taking out the Alolan Marowak, and that is going to be a good battle. I believe that is the final one. Did I call it right today? We'll see here in a second. Yeah, I called it right today. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you guys think about the team. I think Alolan Raticate is a very, very strong closer against the meta that we do see, because you guys are going to see a lot of Hypnos, a lot of Alolan Marowaks, a lot of Alolan Mucks. And Alolan Raticate can really handle that, especially when you give it shield advantage. And by also leading that Hypno and safe swapping the Alolan Muck, we're probably going to be drawing out that Fighter, which is going to be that Shadow Machamp. We may draw out that Wigglytuff as well. I don't see why a Wigglytuff would want to come in other than them having no counter to Alolan Muck, because it's a Hypno or an Alolan Marowak in the back. So this team worked out really, really well. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.